Hello guys, it is me again, it's HorrorFan34, and welcome back to another video, and welcome back to this continuation of reviews for the Die Hard films. Now, of course, in the first video I did of this series of reviews, I did the first Die Hard, which is a fantastic film. Now that we are on the second review for this franchise, it's time to review the sequel. Die Hard 2, Die Harder. Now, of course, this is in the Blu-ray set that was released back in, I think, 2013, around the time when the new one was coming out. This is the 25th Anniversary Edition Blu-ray set, which is a really nice looking Blu-ray set. But Die Hard 2 was released in 1990. Once again, you have Bruce Willis coming back as John McClane. Bonnie Bedelia does come back as Holly. Reginald VelJohnson comes back in a small role as Sergeant Hal Powell. He's in it for a little bit, but he's not, definitely has less screen time in this one than he did in the first movie. But Reginald VelJohnson comes back. Excuse me. Still battling a little bit of a cough, but getting on to Die Hard 2, of course, like I said, I forgot to say it in the first one, it took place in L.A. I might have mentioned that, I don't even remember. But the first film was in L.A., and this one takes place in Washington, D.C. And basically with Die Hard 2, you have Renny Harlin this time directing the film, and now Renny Harlin as a director, I really do enjoy him as well. I know John McClane wanted to come back for Die Hard 2, but around that time, he was doing The Hunt for Red October, so he couldn't do that. But you figure Renny Harlin had a very busy year. Renny Harlin had a pretty busy year around this time because he had Die Hard 2, and he also had The Adventures of Ford Fairlane with Andrew Dice Clay, and then John McTiernan that year did The Hunt for Red October. Sorry if I got that mixed up in there, like busy year and things like that. Whatever. But, like I said, John McTiernan wanted to do this, but because he was doing The Hunt for Red October, he was unable to. So then they got Renny Harlin. Now, Renny Harlin got the job, I think, because of The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. And the reason why he got the job for Ford Fairlane was because of Elm Street 4. So, Renny Harlin, like I said, as director, I really do enjoy. Really enjoyed Die Hard 2. The Adventures of Ford Fairlane is a great movie with Andrew Dice Clay, really funny. Really enjoyed Prison, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Deep Blue Sea, Mindhunters, Cliffhanger. Renny Harlin has done a lot of fair share of his films that I really do enjoy. And this is another one. Now, Die Hard 2, you have John McClane, played by Bruce Willis once again, and then this whole thing where Bonnie Bedelia is coming in on the airplane, and then you have these people trying to take over the airplanes at this airport, trying to take control of the airplanes, and they're headed by this evil colonel, Colonel Stewart, played by William Sadler. Death from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. He was in Trespass. He was in Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight, The Mist. I mean, William Sadler has been in a lot of movies. So he's your main villain. And basically, John McClane has to find a way to stop these guys, pretty much. And now, getting on to Die Hard 2, it's a really, really solid sequel to the first film. Definitely not as good as the first movie. I think Die Hard 1 and 3 are my favorites of the franchise. The first one would be my favorite, then the third one would be my second favorite. This would be my third favorite. Because I think Die Hard 2 has a lot of really good scenes in the movie. Once again, before I get onto that even, John McClane, played by Bruce Willis once again, is fantastic once again. And I think William Sadler does a great job as Colonel Stewart. Very cold, very calculating villain, and I think William Sadler played that very, very well. I think Bonnie Bedelia does a fine job as his wife once again. I think Bonnie Bedelia does a really solid job. And you also have people like in the supporting cast. You have, I think, Art Evans, who was also in Trespass. If you remember that movie Trespass with Bill Paxton, William Sadler, he plays the bum that William Sadler and Bill Paxton confront inside the building when they're looking for the gold, the bum, the homeless guy. That's Art Evans. He's a guy in here that helps out John McClane and things like that. And I think also in this film too, the guy that plays the janitor in this movie went on to be in the Hills Have Eyes remake as the gas station guy. I think that's the same guy that was in Die Hard 2, who played the janitor. And like I said before, you know, really good scenes in the film. You know, the whole with the ejector seat, things like that, and of course, you know, the ending where Bruce Willis sees this line and he sets a fire, and then it like follows the airplane trying to take off with the main bad guy who has control of the plane, and you know the plane blows up, and Bruce Willis saves, defeats William Sadler in that explosion and things like that. You know, granted, you know, it's really like you wouldn't see that kind of plot nowadays with, you know, people taking over planes and things like that. Unfortunately, of course, with the 9/11 stuff and things like that, which is, you know, 9/11 was just one of those times where it's just a pretty sad time and things like that. So you don't really see too many plots like this movie nowadays anymore because of the whole 9/11 stuff. But you know, people taking over planes and things like that. But going back to the movie itself, I think this film has a lot going for it. I think Renny Harlin did a very solid job directing this movie. I think, you know, Bruce Willis as John McClane is great once again. Bonnie Bedelia does a really good job. Reginald VelJohnson, he's only in it for a little bit, but I think he does a fine job. I think the whole, you know, and what's cool about these Die Hard films too, they all take place in different cities. Like the first one was L.A., this was Washington D.C., the third one was New York. So I think it's pretty cool how they have they all take place in different cities for each movie. But I really do think that the second one is a worthy sequel to the first movie. Because, you know, even though John McTiernan doesn't direct this one, I think Renny Harlin does a really great job. Because, you know, I like Renny Harlin as a director. A lot of really great action scenes. You know, Bruce Willis as John McClane is great. You know, William Sadler, you know, easily one of my favorite roles from William Sadler. He's a very cold, calculating villain. I think the other supporting cast members do a great job, like Art Evans and things like that. Yeah, but like overall, I mean, like I don't have really much more to say about Die Hard 2. I just think it's a really solid sequel to the first movie, and I don't think I'm going to say much more about Die Hard 2. But anyways, thanks a lot for watching my review for Die Hard 2, and stay tuned for the next review, which is going to be on Die Hard with a Vengeance. So thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Alright guys, take care.